Hello viewers, and you are now watching Face to Face Live. My name is Alessandro and I will be with you for 1 hour. I have to be completely frank to you that I couldn't be happier to have one of my favorite lecturers coming from UK to be the one I'll be talking with in this episode. And I'm going to be talking about his life, and I have some arguably good reasons for which I want to talk about his life as opposed to coming up with a topic to talk about in this episode. I think I'm going to focus on 3 things: his past, his childhood, the present time, like the things that he is currently doing, and the future time, like the plans that he wants to do in the future. So without further ado, here he is, Sir David Bourne. Hi Sir David. How are you doing, sir?
Good, thank you.
Okay, have a seat, sir, and we will begin the conversation. Thank you very much, sir, for having accepted my invitation. I couldn't be happier to have you in this episode, sir. Probably introduce yourself to the viewers, sir.
Hi everybody, my name's David Bourne. I'm a lecturer at University, where I've been for, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. Lost count now.
4 or 5 years in BINUS, sir?
I think so.
Okay. Now, as in a few days, we are going to have our Merry Christmas and also New Year. How are you going to celebrate those days, sir?
Well, as it happens, it's my son's birthday on the 25th of December. So we've got obviously some birthday presents that I've got hidden in the cupboard somewhere. I hope he's not watching and he doesn't go up and look around. But so we're going to have a little birthday party for him.
Did you prepare on your own, or your wife helps you also?
Well, it's kind of a team effort. I got the birthday presents, and then my wife usually arranges, you know, the food and that kind of thing. It won't be a big affair, but it will be basically a kind of birthday party for him.
What about New Year, sir? Are you going back to UK?
No, I'm not that interested in New Year, so I'll just stay at home and I'll watch some DVDs. I mean, Jakarta is just a nightmare, you know. People riding around, the traffic riding around on their motorbikes, tooting horns, and, you know, I'm getting too old for that kind of malarkey, really.
And as you said that Jakarta is a nightmare, why don't you try to go back to UK in order to get rid of the nightmare in Jakarta?
Well, I mean, the reason I'm not going back this year is family reasons. My parents are going to New Zealand, so
if you're going back, you will be alone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's say, sir, if you had if you won a lottery, a free ticket to go back to UK, would you accept that one or not?
Well, if I won the lottery, I'd do a lot of things. And certainly, I'd celebrate, you know, and do something in the UK. Yeah.
Even if you're alone, sir, it doesn't matter if you're alone there. So all of your family, all of your members?
No, not all. Obviously, I got friends, and there's always people I could meet up with if I wanted to. Really, but I mean, New Year is not a big thing, you know. It's really I mean, it might be for someone like you, party. But
I don't know. I sometimes enjoy being alone better than being around my friends.
Yeah.
What about you, sir? Do you also enjoy being alone, or like?
Yeah, it depends on the mood, really. I mean, you know, I'll meet up with friends maybe once a month, every 6 weeks or something like that, I suppose.
So if you go back to UK, how many friends do you usually meet?
Well, I guess there's maybe 6 or 7 friends, you know, friends that I'm still regularly in touch with. Yeah. But of course they're busy, they've got families, and they've got, especially over the holiday period, they've got quite a lot of commitments. So it's not always easy to meet up.
So, sir, you meet your friends already, and then what else do you do if you go back to UK? Sitting down and watch television? Or
well, at Christmas time is probably not the best time for I mean, you know, the weather's bad, so you end up staying inside a lot of the time, really.
In what way is it bad? Rainy?
Yeah, rainy, low temperatures. Okay. So if it was the summer, you can go out for walks and get out into the countryside, which is perhaps more difficult to do in the winter, really.
Okay. Now let's go back to your life, sir. What is your complete name, by the way? David Bourne, sir.
Well, David Michael Bourne. Yeah,
David
there's
Michael
a middle
Bourne.
name. Yeah.
Did your father or your mother give it to you, sir?
Don't know.
No. And but what about the meaning, sir? Do you happen to know what it means?
Well, obviously, David is just a common English name.
Let's say every 10 male in UK, how many of them have the name of David?
Many.
Many.
Many. Yeah.
Very common
Yeah.
answer. The top, the most
It
common. I
must
guess.
be one of the top. The top name I think is James Smith is the most
James
common
Smith.
name in England.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many brothers and sisters do you have, sir?
I have one brother.
No sister?
No sisters. No.
Elder, brother, or younger?
He's younger, just a few years younger.
A few years.
yeah.
And what does he do now, sir?
He is a computer engineer for a company that prepare software for the printing industry. Yeah.
So quite different from you. Lecturer in BINUS, teaching English, and
Yeah, completely different to what I do, really. Yeah, yeah.
and we also know that you have a wife, sir, from Indonesia. How did you meet her, by the way?
Well, basically, I met her in a bar.
In the bar?
In a bar.
So
yeah.
you were like drinking, sir,
out,
or what?
out and about on Saturday night, kind of
Saturday
thing.
night.
Yeah, these were in the days when there were no mobile phones.
In the bar,
you
no
know?
mobile phone.
And
What
I
year,
had
sir?
to.
In what
I
year?
got her number. And
you got her number?
I got her house number, and then a
How?
couple
How
of
did
days.
you get it, sir?
I asked her, and then
In Bahasa?
I can't remember because at the time I hadn't been here that long, so I can't even remember how much Indonesian I did or didn't speak.
What part of her did really get you interested in her? So,
Can I tell you on polite television?
Okay.
Appearance.
I got it.
Let's
Okay.
just say her appearance.
So you got her number, address, and then you came.
I got her phone number.
You asked for the dinner.
I think we had a date in Ancol, actually.
In Ancol.
Yeah. She said, I'll take you to Ancol. So we had a day in Ancol, which is a theme park in Jakarta.
Yeah.
Don't go there if you...
Why don't you go there?
No, it's okay. If you've got family, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, yeah.
So a full day in Ancol, and
That's
then
right.
how
On
many
the rides
how many
and
days
ice
did you
cream.
try to get close to her before getting married?
Well, I think it wasn't that long. It was only about 9 months, something like that.
So in the wedding party,
shotgun marriage.
nobody complained. Everybody agrees, or like your
Yeah,
family.
no, I didn't have the. They
Come on,
seemed
but
to be.
Indonesia, you are from
Yeah.
UK. Your wife is Indonesia. So many differences. It will be tough for you to have a family.
No,
Nobody complains.
I didn't get much. I mean, my parents sort of questioned it. They were a bit like, "Are you mad?" Well, it's up to you.
Are you mad? Oh. So that's how you met your wife, sir. What about your current activities, sir? The things that you do in order to finance your life?
Well, obviously, I'm
Being a lecturer in BINUS?
Being a lecturer full time at BINUS is
how many hours? Like how many hours per week, sir?
Yeah, it's a full-time job,
full-time?
so a full-time contract. So that involves lesson preparation, writing the papers and things like that, which requires quite a lot of reading of academic texts and that kind of thing. I also have to do projects out at the international school in Serpong as well, which is sort of teacher development projects for language training and that kind of thing. So I have to prepare the materials and then deliver courses for that as well. So that's most of it.
And also IELTS examiner.
Yeah, I'm an IELTS examiner, and I do
And
a
you
lot of
travel
work
Indonesia,
for IDP.
and you travel Indonesia for like, you were invited to.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, Medan, Pekanbaru, Palembang, places like that. As far as Manado as well.
Did you find it a waste of time, sir, to travel around Indonesia just to be an IELTS examiner?
No, it's not. I wouldn't. I mean, it's work, isn't it? I don't mind it actually. I'm quite happy. Some people like it, some people don't. It's not exactly romantic or exciting or anything because you land, you either go immediately to a hotel, stay the night, wake up, and then go to like a shop front type office, run the test, and come back. It's not like holiday happy time really. But it's kind of interesting to go to the different cities and get the different atmosphere of these places.
Okay, and we will continue later, so the conversation after the break. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned. Hello viewers, welcome back with us on Face to Face, the only English spoken program on BINUSTV with me, Alessandro, as your host, and David Michael Bourne as our special guest. Now, sir, let's continue our topic now. Not our topic, our talk. What are your hobbies, sir, in terms of sports? Let's say, how do you usually get your body to stay healthy?
Well, if sports, I do go running 3-4 times a week.
Wow,
and
3-4 times a week.
Somewhere
Where? Around your home?
Around my kampong, yeah, around
At what
my
time?
streets.
5 o'clock?
Varies. If either when I wake up in the morning, which could be 4, 5, 6 a.m.
4, 5,
or so often if it's like at the weekends, Friday and Saturday afternoons. So like today, I'll finish and I'll get home about 5ish, and I'll go for a run.
So usually it takes you an hour to finish
a bit less. I would say I run for about 30 minutes.
Alone, sir?
Not an hour.
Along with your wife, no?
No.
Come on. Let's try to keep our body healthy.
No.
So that our love can stay until we are old one day.
Nice idea.
Right? If you really love me, then let's go jogging.
I'll try that line, see if it works. If you really love me, you will go jogging.
And if you're healthy,
maybe it works. Who knows?
If you're healthy, then our love can stay until we are old one day. Really, right? Nice idea, I guess.
Yeah.
And then what else besides running? Aside from running?
Well, I mean, I guess the only sport I follow is I do follow Formula One fairly closely. Most races, if they're convenient, I'll watch. And I was at the British Grand Prix in the summer because my brother. I went there with my brother, and he's interested in not just Formula One, but he's a motor racing fan. So that kind of runs in our family. I like football. I don't really.
Football versus Formula One, which one do you prefer more?
Well, I mean, I don't actively follow a football team, you know, a Premier League team I don't actively follow, so I kind of watch football when I feel like it, really. Yeah. Part of that is because they don't show. It's so difficult to watch the
channel.
You
have to pay extra money.
And even then, it's like still seems complicated. I think I paid and then I didn't get it, you know, with one of the TV cable companies. So
in terms of leisure time, what do you do, sir? I mean, what do you like?
Well, I mean, I don't have any leisure time. I only have sort of Sundays free.
So quite a busy person.
I don't do anything. Yeah, there's always some work to do, really. So I don't have that much leisure time. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of a fan of progressive rock. Do you know what progressive rock is?
What is it?
Have you heard of groups like Genesis?
No, sir.
You've never heard of Genesis?
What is it? What is that actually?
Genesis are a famous British band, rock group from about the 70s and 80s.
So listening
into
to music.
The 90s.
So
Is
that the reasons why you were always putting on your earphone or headphones on office, or in the office?
No. That's often listening to interviews and things. Yeah.
And you are now a lecturer, sir. We want to know what really makes you want to become a lecturer, sir. I mean, what are the underlying reasons?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't put down any specific underlying reasons. I think teaching in a university environment is one of the most comfortable and basically rewarding environments compared to teaching in schools. Is difficult in that the students are younger, so they bring more. They require more effort and energy to deal with, kind of thing. So I would say, as someone involved in education, the university is one of the best environments to work in, definitely, really. And the students are great. I mean, you know, it's always good to meet and engage with the students and talk to them and interact with them, you know. Yeah, so that's what I enjoy most about it.
So the sharing moment so can I say that sharing is the part that you really like, that you enjoy the most when teaching?
I mean, interacting, really, The
interaction. Yeah. And a lecturer, apparently I think this is not your very first job. I mean, you had some jobs before, didn't you?
Yeah, well, before I joined BINUS, I was at Swiss German University.
Wow.
Yeah.
As a lecturer also?
As a lecturer. And then I was also with the British Council.
Oh, besides aside from a lecturer in any university, did you have another specific job like a singer, a dancer? No, sir?
No, no.
So a teacher, a lecturer, that's all.
My very first job when
Like
when I graduated from
accountant.
university, I worked in a bank.
As a?
Well, it was a bank clerk, so I was dealing with, you know, essentially cashier type stuff, really, dealing with customers, and then, yeah, essentially...
International bank?
No, just a consumer
Local.
bank, you know. So it was dealing with customers, and then at the end of the day, there was a lot of administrative stuff about counting up the money coming in and that kind of thing, because there was a lot of, in those days, before everything was electronic, you had to add up all the checks and the cash and everything like that. And kind of do it manually with the you know, a kind of machine thing.
Yeah. And why did you end up now being a lecturer, sir? I mean, why did you stop doing it?
I was just...
You didn't enjoy that one?
No, I didn't really like... I left the bank and then I decided that I wanted to live abroad, and living abroad, the English teaching thing is one of the, you know, easiest ways to live abroad. So I did a certificate in teaching English, and then did my first year in Spain, northern Spain.
And apparently being a lecturer requires a very good skill in teaching. And who did you learn it from, sir? Did you learn it on your own, from books, like...
No, well, I got a qualification. In fact, I got two I started off with the certificate, and then, I don't know, a few years later, I got something called a diploma, which is run by the University of Cambridge, and that's like an intensive course of about 8 weeks, an 8-week long intensive course, and they monitor, so you have real students. It was done in London, and in the morning it was lectures for about 4 hours, and then in the afternoon it was teaching practice, where basically you deliver your lessons and there's a guy sitting in the back of the room with a clipboard observing, and then at the end there's the feedback session where you know, they tell you exactly what did you do, why did you do this, and basically take apart your lesson, really.
And in total, sir, how many years did you learn teaching? In total?
I guess, I mean, I would have spent, well, I did my master's, which is an MSc in English language teaching management. So that's management topics plus some English language teaching subjects. So if I include that, I suppose it would cover about 5 or 6 years.
Wow. And teaching, so that's how you prepare. And how long have you been teaching? 5 years then, sir?
No.
In total?
No, 25 years. 20 plus years, I guess.
And tell us, sir, the best experience in teaching. We really want to know, sir.
I can't remember the best. I can only speak generally in terms of when a lesson goes well, meaning that the students are
pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and the material, the activities you deliver, they work in that they engage the students' attention, and you know, it's not just fun, happy stuff. It's actually, there's some learning going on and that kind of thing. So that's really what I would say about a good teaching experience, really.
And what are you most irritated by? Is it by students talking to their friends, or is it because of they are not paying attention or sleeping?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't. I guess, I mean, to be, you know, you have to take it. Obviously, as a teacher, you know, there's no such thing. You know, no such thing as. It's stupid to think that students should be perfect and do exactly what you want all the time. That's a stupid thing to think about, really. But I suppose I get a little bit irritated by people who are lazy and really, because if you don't care, if you really don't want, you know, maybe they don't like me, or they don't like the subject, or they just don't care for whatever reason, that's fine, but don't even come to the lesson, you know, that is what I would say, really.
Sometimes it's not you, sir, the only one who feels irritated by the students. Sometimes the friends can feel the same. Like they're just coming without any effort to pay attention to the lecture.
Well, you know yourself, I mean, you know, when I get people to do 5-minute talks, my number one thing is really if you're prepared. So I get irritated if people don't prepare, you know. Sometimes if you're good, you can get away with it, but a lot of people, you know, need to prepare, and if they couldn't be bothered to do something small like that.
It seems unfair if you do not prepare. Then,
it's just, yeah.
Okay, and we will continue later the conversation after the break, so don't go anywhere, stay tuned. Hello viewers, welcome back with us on Face to Face, your favorite talk show on BINUSTV with me, Alessandro, as your host for today's episode, and David Michael Bourne as our special guest. Now, sir, you now live in Indonesia. We want to know why Indonesia, sir. A lot of countries, America, Singapore, China, Japan, Italy, Spain, French. Why in Indonesia, sir?
Well, at the very first...
Before we continue, sir, how long have you been living in Indonesia, sir?
20 years plus now, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And what are the reasons?
Well, at the firstly, I just wanted to, I'd been, you know, to Bali and places like that as a tourist. So I kind of knew that there were lots of places to explore, you know, like Danau Toba, all the sort of tourist places. So I thought, well, I'll try and work here for maybe just 1 or 2 years.
In order to visit them all?
Yeah, in order to visit the places
and you end
in
up
Indonesia.
Living here.
And then I ended up like meeting my wife and staying here because, you know...
Everything was out of plan.
Yeah. And, you know, time flies really, doesn't it, really?
20 years already, sir. I think I have to get some photos of you looking how you look 20 years ago, but I didn't manage to get it. It's okay. Probably the only difference is in the hair, sir. Yeah, I guess, yeah. It was black before,
yes,
it was white before.
My hair was no, it was dark brown.
Dark brown.
Yeah, I didn't have any grey hair.
Dark brown, so pretty like a rock singer, I guess, yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not sure about that, but probably like an English teacher.
Yeah. And then, what about the hardest time in your life, sir? In terms of, let's say, the biggest problem that you have ever had.
I can't really think of any major problems, Alessandro, that I can think of, because, I mean, you know, you sort of, the way you look at problems, you just have to think about, well, most things that arise are, you know, your own fault. So the way I look at, if something goes wrong, then you look at it and you think, well, what did I do wrong? You know, you have to look at the situation and think, well, what mistakes did I make for this thing to happen?
So it doesn't really matter whether we have problems or not. So what really matters is how we see the problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's down to like this kind of idea of like your life is your own fault sort of thing, or you know, taking responsibility for your actions.
Yeah.
So obviously things you don't want to happen, you know, and then either you can be unlucky, you know, it could be, you know, like a force of nature or something that upsets everything, and then like you just have to pick yourself up and get on with it. Or if like, you know, you lose your job or you something like that, you have to think, well, what was I doing, you know, to get this result?
Okay. Because you cannot answer what the biggest problem you have ever had is. Now, this question, you must answer this one because there is no way for you to escape from this one.
Yeah.
The unluckiest time, sir, in your life.
Unluckiest time.
Tricky question, right? I got it now.
Yeah. But again, I can't really think of. I can only think of
the force of nature, sir. Come on, I still remember that one. The phrase that you said. The force of nature. The unluckiest.
But I don't really see myself as having anything unlucky. Really.
So everything seems lucky then, sir.
I wouldn't say lucky exactly, but certainly not I mean, other people are, when you look at, say, people who have been in a traffic accident, and or they've suffered some kind of, physical injury, or people who were born with some kind of physical defect, and, that is the kind of unlucky thing, and, or we can talk about people who have suffered, things like the people in the Philippines who have suffered from the hurricane and all that kind of stuff. That's unlucky, and so it could happen to me anytime. I could get hit by a bus tomorrow, but
I hope not, sir. I still want to meet you again and again over years, like 20 years in the future. Ahead. One day when I already work, I can invite you to a very nice dinner with all the lecturers. This is me now, sir, and then I will see you in 20 years.
Right, let's hope so.
How you really look. What will change according to you, sir? What will change probably? Appearance, your hair?
Yeah, I mean, your face sags, doesn't it? The hair loses colour. And
now let's talk about your childhood, sir. How was it before? I mean, was it nice?
Sorry, my what?
Childhood.
My childhood. Yeah, my childhood was fine. It was middle-class English childhood. So, we had a house, we had a car, and mum and dad went to work, and I went to a school about 10 minutes drive away. And it was okay. It was
good. And do you think you were a determined student or a lazy one?
Well, I went up and down. My parents did tell me that they didn't have any trouble getting me to do homework and stuff. So they were generally sort of grateful compared to other kids who didn't do anything. I was determined. In England, they have national exams called O-levels, and then when you're about 17, 18, they had A-levels. And I kind of realised that I had to pass these things. So I did get my head down and study, especially for the A-levels. I probably about 2 or 3 months before the actual exams, I sat down and in the study room in our house, and I just went through the books. To understand all of the subjects, and I was determined to pass those.
Oh, and when was your best performance? Is it in elementary, junior high school, or senior high school, sir?
I mean, my grades were never like they were good enough. They were good enough. My grades were always solid, but never like top. So I could have probably done better. I guess the best grades I got was when I did some of my assignments for my masters, and they gave me distinction level for a few subjects there.
So when you were a student, sir, what subjects did you like most, or maybe the ones that you hate?
Well, I never got. I never. Now I didn't at the time. I didn't like science, physics, chemistry, and biology, and maths as well. I didn't like those, and I think that's a shame because it was probably the way the teachers presented it more than anything, really, because I don't think I had a natural ability to understand it, and it wasn't done in a. I mean, now I think it's amazing. Science is one of my main interests, actually, and I just think it was perhaps they didn't teach it very well, so I lost interest in that. So certainly as a schoolboy, I didn't like those.
What makes you interested in science now, sir?
Well, I think that really science is the way to answer a lot of questions that people have, really, in terms of, how does the world work? Why are we here? I turn to science, absolutely not, rather than any religious stuff. It's science that's got the answers, really.
What about this one, sir? Let me ask you some questions if you can answer this based on science, on the basis of science. But you don't have to answer this.
Well, I'm not an expert,
I mean, give it a try, sir. Where did the very first human come from?
Well, it's evolution.
Evolution.
I mean, evolution is. So the answer to that is they didn't come from anywhere. Humans evolved from as the whole of life evolved, really.
Okay.
Which is, anyway.
We have talked the subjects that you didn't like. What about the subjects that you were most fond of?
Yeah, I mean, I did do English literature, and I enjoyed that, studying Shakespeare, because once you study Shakespeare, you understand how good a lot of the Shakespeare texts are, and also the novels. Some of the really good. I was lucky we had George Orwell, 1984, to study, To Kill a Mockingbird, and those kind of novels are really good, really.
And what was your dream at that time, sir? What did you expect you to become? A lecturer?
Well, no, when I was a young schoolboy, it was either to be a rock star
or
a football player.
Wow, a rock star. As a singer? Or
no,
as a
guitar player, yeah.
And why didn't you manage to pursue your dream, sir?
I should have done, really, shouldn't I?
If you have done that one, if you had done that one, I wouldn't have met you, sir.
That's right, that's right.
Rock star. What made you want to become a rock star at that time? Because you saw a rock star singer or guitar on television?
Well, I was always at the time. I mean, you know, I mentioned Genesis, so, you know, I was just used to enjoy going to live rock shows was easy as well in the UK, and I mean, in the 80s, it was cheap as well. It didn't, so that was like one of the things I liked to do.
And didn't you tell your parents that you would like to become a rock star?
No, I didn't even. I mean, I was too busy daydreaming, really, to even think to pick up a guitar. You know.
Either a rock star or what is the other one, sir, that you mentioned
before?
Football player. What made you want to become a football player at the time? I mean, let's talk about the position. Striker, defender?
Oh, it would have been striker, yeah.
Striker, the goal makers.
That's right, yeah. Everybody
celebrate that one.
Yeah,
so
but they're just
like being lecturer now, sir. Really?
Yeah, well, they're just daydreams of young boys, really.
And we have one more segment, sir, after this one. So stay tuned. Well, this is the last segment of Face to Face in this episode. Well, sir, now I want to ask you about the best moment of your life, sir.
Well, the best is I would obviously a memorable moment.
Yeah, that's okay.
Memorable moment, of course, when your child is born. Yeah. So of course I remember that day. Yeah.
What did it feel to be a father, sir?
Didn't really feel like anything, because you think about the baby, you know, you just think, oh, is the baby okay, and you know, that kind of thing, really. And so I didn't really think that much about myself.
So that's the most memorable moment in your life, sir?
Yeah.
The second most memorable, any?
No, I mean, you know, if you talk about those kind of things, it's more like, obviously there are good times, like, you know, when some really good weekends that I've had, and, you know, good nights out, really fun nights out with friends and that kind of stuff, that obviously I'll remember, that kind of thing. But I wouldn't identify like one. I mean, if I was to say the best period of my life was probably my student days, you know. Yeah, if I was to say, I think that was...
What do you mean by student's days, or graduation day?
No, when I was studying economics at university. And
so your major was not English then?
No.
Economic?
Yeah.
That's it then. So English was like, you learn it on your own then, sir, yeah? Because it was your very first language, your mother tongue.
Yes.
That's your basic then, okay. What about your biggest successor? Is it when you graduated?
I mean, I don't really think there's one like major success. Obviously, it's, you know, you get when you get the job that you've applied for, so, you know, those kind of events. You get the job that you've applied for, or you finish, you know, you graduate, you finish your studies, and you get the qualification that you've been working hard for. Those kind of events are always, you know, kind of satisfying, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, occasionally you might get a promotion or offered, you know, some interesting opportunities or something.
So, like promotions, sir? What offer?
Well, I mean, for me, they're more opportunities, really, you know, to do something. Yeah, I've been lucky. I've been offered a few opportunities in IELTS that I've taken, and I'm, you know, happy to do those.
Okay. What about the biggest disappointment? Let's say, like the thing that you regret not having done in the past.
Thing that I regret not having done, not really. Again, it's useless. Regretting that kind of thing is
useless.
I mean,
pointless,
it's a pointless thing to think about, because you
look
can't
forward,
change.
look ahead.
Yeah, that's right. There's no point. Although, I mean, there are lessons to be learned. You know, it goes back to like. Taking responsibility for your mistakes, and part of taking responsibility is saying, well, okay, I messed up, this is what I've learned from it, now let's look forward and move on. Really
nice. So I can say like your past cannot be altered, but the future is pretty much in your hand, I guess.
I mean, everybody's you know, everybody's got the time to you know, to make any changes you want to is now, of course, isn't it? Really.
And what about the things that you have not achieved, sir? I mean, the things that you are looking forward to achieving in the future.
Well, at the moment, the only things I'm just looking short term. I suppose the most important thing is to get my son through university. He's only in semester 3, so he's got a couple of years left. And, you know, I want to hopefully safely see my son through to graduation, and hopefully he can get a job and start on his own career, really.
What kind of job do you expect him to have?
I don't know. I don't really know.
But do you like do you have like expectation?
No, I just say to him,
you have to get this one, you have to get that one.
Not
not this one. Yeah, you have to this one. You have to be this one. No, sir.
I just say about the
Freedom.
money.
The money then. Money matters.
Find a job that pays. Exactly, money matters. Yeah.
If you get a lot of money, you can what is that? Your son can get you to travel around the world, I guess. Yeah?
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I can retire. He can pay me.
So your son works, and then you stay at home. Then
exactly.
Drink coffee, watch movie.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
travel.
right. Yeah.
So a job that pays. That's the key.
Yeah, or a job that will pay in the future. Sometimes you don't get good money, obviously, when you're young, but you know it can come after once you've built up some kind of experience in your career.
And when do you plan to retire, by the way, sir?
At the moment, never. I can't afford to.
What are the considerations that you take into account when you retire?
Just finances, really. If I were to win the lottery, you know, tomorrow, then
$1 million.
No,
leave
not enough.
The job.
$1 million is not enough. You need 10 million now.
$10 million,
I think, really.
And then leave the job.
Yeah, well, you do what you want to, don't you?
Enjoy the rest of the life.
I would still consider working, but I would be working under my own terms.
Oh,
you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do what you like that one, yeah. Doing what you like, I guess. And everybody thinks that you are quite a happy person. So I mean,
are you sure about that?
Yeah, I think that's my perception. I guess that's how I perceive you as a smiling person. Any secret behind this one, sir? How do you see life? I mean, from which point of view do you see it?
Well, not really. The only thing I'd say about happiness is that you have to sort of study it. If you see what I mean. Okay. I mean, happiness doesn't come...
By the way, sir, do you think that you are a happy person or...?
I wouldn't say I'm unhappy. I would say I'm kind of even, I suppose, even. Really. Yeah, I don't know.
So,
Yeah.
but what would you want to say, sir? I mean,
I was just going to say, I mean, you have to, I think the two things are to understand that happiness doesn't come from other people. It doesn't come from the things that you have. It comes from yourself, your own attitude, really, which is, some people look for happiness as like a kind of stimulant. You know, if I buy this, it will make me happy. If my mother, my father, my girlfriend does this for me, it will make me happy, which is completely the wrong. You have to create your own happiness, really.
Okay.
And that's what I meant when, to do that, sometimes you have to actually study and think about, well, what actually is happiness, really?
I think we have reached the end of our discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir, for having accepted my invitation.
You're welcome.
Well, I think I'm going to close this show because we are going to have our Merry Christmas and New Year. I think New Year is going to be another blank page that we have to fill in, and make sure that we start and finish filling it in with everything positive in our mind. So my name is Alessandro, our guest David Michael Bourne. See you next time.